The American media and the leftist propagandists that they employ have always been out of touch. They've always just been pushing narrative, pushing agenda, and they really haven't ever been concerned with actual truth, I don't think. And I think we're seeing where all that ends right now. I think we are witnessing the media implosion in real time. And a good example of that is, Donald Trump was in a predominantly black church in Detroit, in the hood, as the pastor put it. And what I'm going to show you is how he was received. I want to show you this before I show you how the media and how the propagandists on The View want you to actually believe that he was received.
So it's an honor to be here. It's a very important area for us. We've done more for, and I say it proudly, more for the black population than any president since Abraham Lincoln. That's a big statement. And crooked Joe Biden has done nothing for you except talk. It's only talk. It's all talk. He gets nothing. He gets nothing for anyone. He was lost. He's in Europe. He's walking around. He doesn't know where the hell he is, and he's supposed to help Detroit. I don't think so. But we achieved the lowest African-American unemployment rate and the lowest African-American poverty rate ever recorded during my 4 years. We lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty. Black Americans saw their largest increase in home ownership on record. There's never been anything like it. This is during our period of time. We gave record funding to historically black colleges and universities. You all know that.
They do all know that. And they all know that every single bit of that is true. And remember, these are the same people that have been told that he literally hates them, been told that he's a racist. They've been told that if they don't vote for him, if they don't toe the party line perfectly, then they ain't black. They've been told this kind of garbage for almost a decade now. And still, this is how he was received. And this is how the left wants you to believe that he was received.
So one of the biggest crooks in the country and by that 34 counts is what I'm talking about.
Convicted felon, yeah.
Convicted felon is telling black people that people are coming for their jobs. This is the narrative that is being pushed to black voters. And they keep saying, oh, black people are going to him. Can we look at the church? Can we get a visual of the church?
Of the black church.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure that most of these people even knew where that church was before they knew he was coming there.
Yeah, so the ladies at The View, who probably, I'd bet collectively have probably only ever had about 1 or 2 jobs in their entire lives, they want African-American communities to believe that over 10 million new citizens, most of which have been moved directly into their communities, are no financial danger to them, that none of that is true, and those people in that church, that's not real, they're not really black, they're not really churchgoers, and like all things inconvenient for Joe Biden, that none of it's even real. But there's no denying that this is a black church, and this is Joe Biden, and this is not fake.
Ceasefire in Palestine. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.
I couldn't find an example of The View talking about that. I guess when they can't really spin a thing, then they just probably ignore it. But the whole reason that we're even having this conversation is because the left, because the Democrats, and because Joe Biden himself really have ignored and really have just forgotten all about the black citizens of this country. They've neglected them for decades, taken them for granted, really taken them for granted since the 1960s. And now they've basically completely forgotten about them. And people are waking up.
Because I tell you, black men are not happy with the Biden-Harris administration. And the Biden-Harris administration knows this. That's why they have someone in Detroit every other week. For the last 5 weekends, every other week, somebody from the Biden-Harris administration here. And they're not coming here and saying, hey, we did this, they did this. They're coming here to keep us docile, keep us unaware, keep us simple and meek. But we know life was better under Trump. We know we had more money in our pockets under the Trump administration. We know we weren't going to our local gas station making major financial decisions between a bag of chips and a can of pop. We know what that feels like. So as we go forward, looking back like the Sankofa bird, make the right decision. Make the right decision not based off of emotions, but based off of economics. Make the right decision based off of how your family could be better positioned. Make that decision. I mean, we got Sheree Tanadar as our congressman. That is just like, not in Detroit. That's just how confused they have us.
Him getting convicted of paying his lawyer and calling it a legal fee is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. You know what I'm saying? So, if anything, that's making my support grow stronger, because I see people get falsely convicted and the court system go target somebody. If they got a target on your back, obviously they'll make up anything. It was clearly targeted, and they wanted to do it before the election. It's too clear that it was political. If he's such a big criminal, racist, this, that, and the other, and the thing you get him for is paying his lawyer, I'm with him.
People are not stupid, man. I mean, it's Occam's razor. The simplest answer is the correct answer. You know, what they're doing to Donald Trump, it is targeting. And people are smart enough to recognize that if they can do it to someone like him, someone with his kind of power, his kind of resources, then, I mean, it's only obvious. They can do whatever they want to whoever they want. And the first guy was right also. You know, if they can keep us confused, then not only can they do whatever they want, but they can get us to do basically whatever they want too. I mean, it's truly remarkable stuff, but not as remarkable as what is actually happening. You know, I believe that the left, I really do believe that they have made some pretty dramatic mistakes. I mean, they really did believe that there was nothing that they couldn't do. I think they really did believe that they had won the hearts and the minds and successfully made us all stupid, but it's just not the case.
CNN senior data reporter Harry Enton is with us. So where does the race stand among African-American voters right now?
Yeah, I keep looking for this to change, to go back to a historical norm, and it simply put has not yet. So this is the margin, or Biden and Trump among black voters, compare where we were at this point in 2020, compare where we are now. You know, at this point, look at this. In 2020, Joe Biden was getting 86% of the African-American vote. Look at where it is now. It's 70%. That's a 16-point drop, John. And more than that, it's not just that Joe Biden is losing ground, it's that Donald Trump is gaining ground. You go from 7%, single digits at this point in 2020, to now 21%. And again, John, I keep looking for signs that this is going to go back to normal, and I don't see it yet in the polling. If anything, right now we're careening towards a historic performance for a Republican presidential candidate, the likes of which we have not seen in 6 decades.
And when you dig into this number here, what is the makeup of that number?
This is where we get very interesting. So I decided to dive deeper into the crosstabs, figure out where is it that Joe Biden is truly struggling among black voters. All right, so this is black voters, Biden versus Trump margin. Look at black voters age 50 and older, and you'll see, look, Joe Biden was leading amongst this group at this point by 83 points back in 2020. Now it's 74 points. So yeah, a slight decline in that margin, but nothing out of this world. Look at black voters under the age of 50. Holy cow, folks, holy cow. Look at this. Joe Biden was up by 80 points among this group back at this point in 2020. Look at where that margin has careened down towards. It's now just, get this, 37 points. That lead has dropped by more than half, Mr. Berman. I just never seen anything like this. I'm like speechless, because you always look at history and you go, okay, this is a historic moment. If this polling is anywhere near correct, We are looking at a historic moment right now where black voters under the age of 50, which have historically been such a big part of the Democratic coalition, are leaving it in droves.
That is a huge drop over a 4-year period, at least right now. All right, what's the impact of third-party candidacies here? Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, all right. So obviously we have third-party candidates this year with the two major party candidates being so disliked. All right, so this is black voters, Biden versus Trump in the battleground states. This was according to a poll last month from the New York Times, Siena College. Again, looks very similar to what we see nationally, right? Joe Biden at 63, a very poor position for a Democratic candidate. Donald Trump at 23%. If we add Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to this, look at where Joe Biden drops to. Less than half the vote among black voters, less than half the vote among black voters in the battleground states. Donald Trump drops as well to 14%, so not quite nearly as historic. But look at this, RFK with 11%. You basically have a legitimate sort of three-way race here. Yeah, Joe Biden well ahead, but with less than 50% of the vote. John, I never thought I would see something like this among black voters.
And for those questioning who Robert Kennedy would hurt more, at least in these numbers, in this measurement right here, Biden loses 14, Trump loses 9. So it's clearly Joe Biden.
It's exactly right. It seems to me this is, yes, it's partially a artifact of Donald Trump perhaps being better liked among black voters, but it's also a real artifact of Joe Biden being significantly less liked among black voters than he was 4 years ago.
Yeah, those are fantastic numbers, man. And honestly, as great as they are, I still cannot possibly believe that someone like Joe Biden could even get 5% of anyone. I cannot freaking believe it. But I mean, propaganda is a hell of a drug for sure. But these guys are shocked. And the guy said one thing that I think just says everything, right? He said he keeps waiting for the numbers to just go back to normal. And I think normal for them is the monolith. They expect black people or gay people or woman people, the real version and the replica version, to just all do and say and think as one thing. They expect the people that they tell to vote blue to just do what they're told and vote blue no matter who. That is what normal is to the talking heads at CNN. And I think to the American left as a whole. But another thing he said is the best thing he said. He said, we're careening towards the historic performance for Republicans and for Donald Trump. He said something like we haven't seen in 60 years. And still, in the face of all of that, you have people telling you that it's just not real, that none of it's real, and that Joe Biden has done a terrific job. I mean, we live in the craziest of crazy times, but that's just my take, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.